Cool. It just starts it automatically. All right. Welcome, everyone. We got people joining. We just started the webinar. So if you are joining, please pop in the chat and tell us where you're tuning in from. And, also what you're looking forward most about today's webinar. We're going to be talking about intro offers and how to convert new clients into your ideal customers, whether that be like memberships or repeat customers. So we're looking forward to that. But yeah, welcome everyone. Still seeing more people pop in the chat.
Drop your location and tell us what kind of business you have.
And we have, we're really excited to have Michael on. So while people are joining, I'll just give a little bit of a plug for Offering Tree. So thanks for joining this installation of Offering Tree webinars. Offering Tree is a all-in-one platform for health and wellness businesses. We offer a website builder that's integrated automatically with scheduling and registration, online payments, client communication, email marketing, and client management. So we're kind of a one-stop shop. Everything's integrated and seamless, no plugins or integrations that can make your life miserable and anxiety provoking when you're not sure if things are working. So it's sort of a business in a box. So welcome to today's presentation. Today we have Michael J. And Michael J is the owner of Yoga Biz Champ. He had a yoga studio, a very successful yoga studio with a successful exit. And he spent the last several years helping other yoga studios and other fitness studios achieve success. And I'm sure he's learned a lot of things, even after having his own successful business, helping others. I think when you help others, you really start to hone your skills and your craft. So we're super excited to have Michael. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here with Offering Tree and also to partner with Offering Tree. This has been, we've been working together because Offering Tree moving into also serving the studio, fitness studios, and which is an area I specialize in. So it's been really great working with them. And I'm really excited about the automations that we're going to show today as well, because you're going to get automations built into your Offering Tree account, which, most software companies, you have to pay a pretty premium on top. So that's pretty exciting, Eddie.
Yeah. And so people are continuing to join here. We got a good list. So again, let us know in the chat where you're coming from and, what you're hoping to take away from today. I would say that one really piece of exciting news is we launched our automations today. So check out the software and start playing around with automations. And as Michael mentioned, what we're really excited about is Michael partnered with Offering Tree to create his very own intro offer template. So now you guys can all you'll all be able to take advantage of that template, and we're going to give you a sneak peek today. So I'm going to share my screen and we can sort of dive in. So let me present this.
See a few of my clients on here. Welcome, everybody.
Find the screen to share here. All right. Can you see my screen here?
Can.
All right.
That'd be me.
All right. Everything look good?
Everything looks good.
Okay, great. So welcome to Revolutionizing Your Intro Offers and Automation Expert Strategies with Michael J. Do you want to talk about, give a little intro of the presentation?
Yeah, so I mean, actually, we can go through the slides, and that'll kind of go through the presentation a little
Yeah,
bit, Eddie.
perfect.
Yeah. So today we're going to we're going to talk about intro offers. We're going to talk about strategies, and we've already mentioned you get access to the funnel that I've kind of pre-built. We'll go through that step by step and show you the whys we created these. You get access to my Canva template with all the images for the templates for the images, and we're going to do a full walkthrough for through the automations. Let's go to the next slide, Eddie. So just a little bit about me. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. I go between Vancouver and Los Angeles, and I had a studio for 13 years on the outskirts of Vancouver. It was a true community studio, and I have a marketing background, so that was kind of my superpower that I brought to my studio, and I built it up to be a very successful, profitable studio that I was able to sell about 8 years ago, which is always my dream for my clients. And I've been a teacher for 25 years. That studio is celebrating its 20th year now and is on its third owner, which is just a testament to the amazing community there. Next slide, Eddie. Business consultant. After I sold the studio, I got certified as a business consultant, and my kind of marriage of marketing background and working with studios kind of has all come to play together. And so I'm mostly, I have a Legree studio. I mostly specialize in yoga only. However, what we're going to talk today, you may hear me say yoga a lot because that's just my world, but just know that these methods can be applied to kind of any fitness kind of format. So even if I'm saying yoga all the time, and I really have been specializing lately in opening studios and doing it really, really well. So the last 4 studios, actually one of them is on here on the call, but we've opened the last 4 studios in the last few months, covering costs before they even open. So it's kind of an area that I really, really love, which really ties into what we're talking about today too, because the nurture sequence and email sequence for new customers.
And I just
Yeah.
was made aware that chat was not working, but I
Okay.
just enabled it.
Ah,
So that explains why I haven't heard anything in the chat.
Sinead, we
So
couldn't do without you.
we couldn't. So I'm trying to do this, and
Hey,
clearly
Ashley.
I'm failing. But so
Hi,
yeah,
everybody.
please. It looks like we're getting some responses now.
Thanks,
Everybody
Sinead.
had some pent up chat. So
Drop where you're
yeah.
at, what kind of business, and what you want to get out of this,
All
please.
right. Here we go.
And this is my pride project, is my podcast, Yoga Biz Camp. It's conversations with aspiring inspirational studio owners and industry experts. So don't get confused with Yoga Biz Champ. I am yogabizchamp.com, but my podcast is Yoga Biz Camp. And if you just scan that barcode, it'll take you directly to my podcast page, and you can just choose Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever you listen on. But yeah, highly encourage everybody to click follow and listen to that.
Cool. And we'll add a link to this in the show notes as well.
Some Canadians here.
Yeah. We have people
Welcome.
from Alaska, Calgary,
Ontario, Alberta.
Ontario. It's great to see where everyone's from.
All right. So what we're going to go over today, we're going to break it down a little bit, different types of intro offers, pricing strategies, kind of the customer experience retention, and then we'll go through the email automations.
Great.
Let's get into the first types. And Eddie, please jump in here. If anybody's got questions, we want this to be interactive. I kind of, we're just going to go through these few slides, but I prefer interactive rather than being presented at. I think I got kind of tired during COVID at presented at. So please throw in your stuff.
Absolutely. And I'll just quickly review some of the chats. So someone's excited to learn about intro offers, which is great. It looks like you're
Yeah.
in the right place for that. We're going to be talking about that for sure. Christina is interested in streamlining with email, yoga teacher training, payments, and content. So we'll see what we can get to there.
Yeah.
And Deepa is interested in building a profitable business. So that's great. I think a lot of what we're talking about definitely ties
Yeah.
into that. I mean, he's from they're from Truckee, California. So yeah, let's just a little bit of
Perfect.
what's happening in the chat, and people are continuing to drop in, which is great. Let us
Awesome.
know what you're looking to learn today.
So let's take a look at different. So I'm going to be kind of clear that my world is studios. All right. So I'm going to be talking a lot about from the studio perspective. Just be clear about if you're a solopreneur. We can talk about that maybe a little bit in the Q&A, but just so you know, my objective here is about kind of entryways into a studio type of membership, but you can convert that. So first one, let's talk about free. I'm not a massive fan of free, and you can add in here, Eddie. The only reason I say you can do free is if you've got a really, really, really tight sales conversion system or team. And because free doesn't really get you a lot of drop-ins unless you've really got a system to really book that person into class quickly and convert them into the membership. So I'm not a massive fan of the free, but I just on my latest podcast, I talked to somebody that does do free very successfully. He's a fitness business, but what he says is speed to lead. So that is, he has a sales page, and as soon as somebody clicks that they want that free, their front desk person gets a beep and they try and get back to that person within 1 minute to get them booked into a class where they then convert them. So that's what I mean about a system. It's got to be really, really tight if you're doing a free. Just free cards around town, free. There's just no buy-in. And I'd love to hear if anybody has any success with free. Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute. If anybody has success for free, please drop it in the chat because I would love to know what your experience. Do you have anything on that, Eddie? Because you see a lot of the data in the back end and
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, to kind of expand on, why it's tough. I think, you're mentioning that you just don't have a lot of buy-in. Like, there's not a lot of opportunity. You have that one class and that's it. Like, whereas if you can get someone to make a little bit of a more commitment, you have a longer time period to sort of build that habit and also show your value, right? Like, it's really
yeah,
hard with just one free class to really like sell someone
yeah,
on your service. So I think the
no
longer you can
success.
get people to commit, it's going to make your make your process a little bit easier to convert them into
Yeah.
the type of client that you want them to be.
And if it's a studio, most of their goals, usually on a studio, if the goal is membership, right, we want to get them in on an intro offer so they can try the whole menu so that they see value. Drop in, I'll get back to drop-ins shortly. We'll talk about the kind of the pricing structure soon, but all I'm going to say is on drop-in, it should be uncomfortably high, is what we say, right? So you don't want to sell drop-ins, and I'll get to that when we get a little bit more to the pricing structure. A class pack, so that might be something that looks like for an intro offer. A common one might be 3 classes with 1 week turnaround, right? And so what you need to know about if you are doing that, so I'm seeing some people doing a 2-week intro offer and a 3 class pack at the same time, because if you go to listen to one of my podcast episodes with Chris Apaya, he says you have 2 different types of customers. You have the one that looks at your schedule and they're like, I'm all in, right? I know I'm all in. I see value in that. And then you've got the other one that's a little bit more tentative, right? So they're probably going to go, if they bought a 3 class pack, you're probably going to have a little bit more success converting them to a 10 class pack than an unlimited. If they're buying a 3 class pack, they're kind of showing you that they're tentative, right?
Regina chimed in. She said no success with free ever at
Free. Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So there's a little
Yeah.
validation there, but let
Yeah.
us know in the chat if you
Yeah.
have a
Please.
different opinion or something is working for you, and we can all learn from that.
So the one we're going to focus on a little bit more today, and which in our automations too, is the most common one, which is an unlimited trial period. I see those all over the place. They go 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, and a whole month. So I see everybody. We used to always in the industry do a month. It was just straight up a whole month. But we're kind of seeing that with a little bit more success around the 2 or 3 week. A lot of data says that 3 weeks is a really good time, but I'm seeing a lot of people shorten that to 2 weeks. Again, a shorter time period. You have to be on it. You have to be making sure that you are getting people booked in multiple times. If you can't get them in on your trial 1, 2, or 3 times in a week, you're not going to convert them because they're not going to see value, right? So you've got to get them booked in. We'll talk about the strategies too. I'm going to talk direct to membership is anything on that, Eddie? Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, Deep is asking, are these insights applicable to an online yoga business? And I would say yes. I was going to kind
Yeah.
of make a little bit of a
Yep.
connection. I know we have a lot of like personal brands,
Yep. Yep.
solopreneurs on here. If you have an online yoga business, you might have an online library. You probably still have some idea of what you want your ideal clients to be doing, like either buying a membership to access your on-demand content, or maybe buying a class pack or a membership to access your classes over Zoom. These all still apply. It's essentially like, how are we going to take someone who's interested in our services, but they're not yet there yet? How do we nurture them along to being like repeat ideal customers for you? So I think this does definitely apply to
Yep.
any type of
Yeah.
business. And yeah, but Michael,
Yeah. And
I'm curious if you have anything thoughts
yeah,
on that.
the same thing. I have run my own virtual studio at 1.2, and I had a great deal of success with it. I will give you a little tidbit on that though. For online's not as strong as it was during COVID. Right now, we're competing. So I've seen a lot more success with creating online a course format, right, where people are actually committed to that, unless you've got a whole business strategy for your online as well. But I do see a lot better. But yeah, absolutely, you could absolutely apply. If your online business is membership, this completely will go in.
Great.
Direct to membership is getting. It's been in the gym area for a longer time than it has in the yoga area, and so I'm seeing a lot of the yoga, Pilates group classes going towards this. And so the difference is, you're not, if you're doing an intro offer, you have to sell them an intro offer. You have to do all the sexy nurturing during that period, which we'll talk about today. And then you have to convert them again to a member. Whereas if you are direct to membership, you're straight into the membership, got the credit card, into a rolling monthly, but you're giving the first month 50% off with the option to cancel before the end of the month. And so I see this work well with a studio that's got a lot of classes. If you're, in the 15 kind of realm, you might not be as successful in this area. But if one of my biggest studio has 80, 90 classes a month, and it just makes sense because people look at that and they're like, whoa, that's value. I got lots of choices straight in. Okay. And then I'll touch on the beginner course. The beginner course, I did so much success on these because it's just a different doorway into your business. You can do a virtual beginner course. I did beginner 101 yoga for 3 times a year for 13 years and sold everyone out with 25 people in it without fail. And it's just a different doorway into the business, but a course creates community because it's the same people all together. And then you can give them samples of what is on the menu, the classes during that course, and it builds confidence. I'm just going to add in quickly, I don't want to focus on that. There are a couple of other things. ClassPass, not a big fan. But that is, a lot of studios are using ClassPass. If you're a membership focused business, you're going to have a hard time building membership. So I say that I have a hard time rescuing studios out of ClassPass once they're deep in it. Yeah, and then the beginner course. Anything on that, Eddie?
I was trying to think. I think you pretty much covered it. I mean, there are like sort of hybrids between the two, but I think this is a great sort of spectrum of the options, and you can
Yeah.
get kind of creative with all of these
Yeah.
things. But yeah, I think this is a
The
great
other
place
thing
to
I will
start.
say, the other thing I say with my studios, quite often we want, if we, I suggest that we want to try a different intro offer. They're a little bit hesitant, but I think it's okay because we can actually turn off an intro offer and turn on a different intro offer to try and see which one works. Nobody's going to know except for new people coming into your business. So your existing client won't care or know anything about that, but you could literally see, do a 2-month trial of each one, see which ones hit the best for your community.
And Regina has a question. What's the difference between class pass and class pack? I think maybe some people don't know
Yeah.
what class
Sorry.
pass
Yeah.
is.
Class pack. So class pack, I think of a pack is like a 3-class pack, a 5-class pack, a 10-class pack. So it's a set amount of classes that they purchase. So in an intro offer, it would normally be you get 3 classes for 1 week period. A pass, we usually think of like an unlimited, all you can eat, come as much as you can, unlimited.
And then the other wrinkle is there's a company called Class Pass that is a whole nother thing. And I think
Yeah.
you referenced that, so maybe that was
Yeah.
where the confusion is.
Yeah.
But we won't
Yeah.
spend too much time
Class
talking.
pass. Class pass is a Grouponish discount thing to your studio.
All right, are you ready for the next one?
Sure are. All right. So this is kind of my structure that I see works really, really well. You want it to, I quite often go with new studio clients and I look at their menu and it's overwhelming. There's like 15 different options, right? So you want the journey to be super easy for the client, right? So this is a structure I like. Crazy high price drop in. We do not want to sell that. I'm talking, depending where you are, $25, $30. I've got some $35, $40. You don't want to sell those. You want that person, you want to sell those to the people that are just visiting town and they're dropping in, right? So that's not your ideal client drop in. All right. But if you're going to sell it, have at least a good price on it. Your intro offer suggested, now I'm not giving you prices here, and the reason for that is I can't. Everybody's all over the place in different places, and everybody would have different rents, expenses, right? So I'm just going to give you a general good guideline here, is to figure out what your order, if you're doing a monthly order pay, you want to set that price, you want to see what is going on in your area. You want to know what your own costs are before you set that, and have a really good strategy for that one. Your intro offer should be approximately 50% of your auto pay amount, your monthly order pay. So for example, if you are $120 a month, a good price for an intro offer would be $59, right? About half price. And so and the reason for that is if you gave away free or a $10 drop in, that's a big jump from there to $120, right? If you're at the half price point, mentally, it's not a big jump from your intro offer price to you're getting a qualified lead that's going to invest. And also if somebody's paying that price, they're more likely, they're committed, and they're more likely going to come and make use of your pass. So that's really important. We want to make them not just sell it, we actually want to get them booked on the mat to use it, because if they're not using it, they're not going to see value, they're not going to carry on with you. And then a class pack is for, I recommend something like a 10 class pack valid for 6 months is a kind of general 4 months, 6 months, because that person is the once a month, they're the once a weeker. They're a little bit more casual, but you want to keep an eye on those, because if they buy a 10 class pass and they're burning through it, it's a great conversation to have, you'd be better off on the auto pay. The other conversation sales technique on this strategy is that if someone's saying, oh, I want to do a drop in, you have everybody on the front desk or whoever's having the conversations, that's fine. But for the price of 2 drop-ins, you can have 2 weeks, 3 weeks of, you literally might have access to 60 classes over the 3 weeks. What do you want to do?
It's a great point about feeling like it's not the end all be all if someone just decides to do a class pack, right? There's always opportunities that they're really utilizing the class pack to get them to move to that next level. Like it's not over after that first kind of decision.
Yeah.
Um,
And Elizabeth just said, "How about a punch card?" Sorry, class. I'm calling the class pack a punch card. We just got different languages here.
I was thinking that too, and then I was thinking, well, there's a pizza place that I like, and your tenth piece of pizza is free, and that they call that a punch card. I'm curious
Yeah.
if anyone's ever used like that similar concept for
Well,
in the fitness industry.
well, the punch card, we call it punch pass because originally, back in the day, I'm aging myself here in the fitness world, but back in the day, I had before we had this beautiful software like Offering Tree to manage our studios, I had a box on the front. We're talking 20 years ago. I had a box on the front. We had alphabetical and actual passes in them and a punch. And so people came in, punched it, wrote their name, wrote their punch number down, and then I hired somebody to come in and match those punches up with our binder. Yeah. Yay, Offering Tree and software companies for like making all this stuff beautiful. Yeah. Other people are as old as me. Yeah.
That's great.
All right.
Regina's asking about auto pay, no contract.
Yeah.
And asking if, yeah,
Yeah. So what I'm seeing right now, Regina, is we're in a period where people are uncertain, right? It's so I'm seeing people more likely to commit without a commitment, if that makes sense.
right. So that those the like 1 year commitment
You can
auto
you can you
pay.
can do that, but right now I feel like people are just they're just not they're just tentative about committing.
Tina's asking, do you try to pick one of these and go with it, or do you offer multiple? I think you could probably do either, but what
Yeah,
would you suggest?
I would stick with one in two things. One intro offer or two intro offers. So one unlimited intro offer, or if you want to be strategic about having one intro offer unlimited for 2 weeks, for example, and one 3 class pack for 1 week. So I would encourage you to go to my we'll have a barcode for it, but to Yoga Biz Camp and listen to the episode from Chris Apaya, who talks about sales, and you'll have a really good listen to that about his strategy on that. But it's just two different buyers, right? So if you want to hit that, you've got the tentative and you've got the all in.
Perfect.
But it's really
And
what you can focus on, right? And so the beautiful thing, if you do have one like an unlimited, like we're talking about today, you can have this beautiful sequence that goes along through that period too.
um, Yakov, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is asking how to use Offering Tree in self-service mode at front desk for check-ins and drop-ins with no secretary. I'm not sure I completely grasp your question, but I'll try to do my best, and feel free to post back in the chat if I'm not answering your question. But I do want to mention, actually, we did just launch another feature not too long ago, earlier this month, where you can now have an upsell for an intro offer or a package or a membership if someone does not yet have one of those things. So if before, it would just be they would just have the drop-in option, but now you can sort of upsell your intro offers so they can pick that instead of drop in. And I think that's what Michael was talking about earlier, where we really kind of want to get away from doing drop in and getting people to invest in more long term. So
I think
that's
I think I think his the question though a little bit was about the actual check-in process for classes at the studio, right?
yeah. So we do have a point of sale that you can check people, like if someone hasn't yet registered before class and they come and say you're a brick and mortar studio, or even if you're doing Zoom, I suppose. I guess that wouldn't work because the only way to get the Zoom link is by registering. But if you're a brick and mortar studio and someone shows up, 10 minutes before class, we have a point of sale feature where you can check them in. they can register and check them in. We also, if you go to your roster page, we also have a new check-in sort of screen where you can have like an iPad or something set up, I think set up at the desk, and people can just check themselves in. So that's available. If you go to the roster for that class, there's a little like button that can let people check themselves in. You can press that and then that'll show up. Oh, yep. Looks like cool. Looks like that's what they were looking for. So yeah, check that out if you haven't seen that yet in the software. Should I move on here?
Yep, perfect. Yeah, so let's just talk about the actual customer journey, because there's a lot to it, right? We to actually get somebody in the doors. And so first of all, we have to do marketing. So that's a whole different conversation than today, but we have to do marketing to get people to our sales page. I'm going to really highly recommend that you have a dedicated landing page or sales page just for your intro offer, right? And so that just talks, it's just, and again, it's not links to go look here for our teachers and go look here. You want it to be all those distractions taken away, and you want it to just lead people through the journey to purchase. So you want to have a really, really fantastic sales landing page. The reason I like that too is some of my studios are on here. They know that that then you only have to market one thing when you're marketing a studio. All you have to do then is market one thing. That's your intro offer, and everything, your QR codes, your links, your social media, everything goes directly to that page. So that's the first stage. So then you could have a wicked intro offer, which we've just gone over, but that's where the automations can kick in. And I'm not saying don't have personal touches, because I'm all about community and building, but the automations that Eddie and I have built out here, they are about helping that journey and helping you as a business owner keep your clients nurtured. The other thing I'm going to say is I hear all the time from people is I don't want to send too many emails because people are going to unsubscribe. One, if they're going to unsubscribe, they're already not interested. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about your numbers. It's not about your subscription numbers. It's about the people that actually read your email. So if you start here and if you're at the studio and you're talking to someone, you've sold them an intro offer, you can actually say, expect to have some emails from us. You're going to get some great stuff. Make sure you read them and just give them the heads up that these emails are coming. The first email should be a welcome email, and we'll go over that in great detail when we get to the automations. But that first welcome email should tell them everything they need to know before they come. Going to a studio is the most intimidating experience for a lot of people, right? So you want to take out that intimidation factor. You want to make sure that they know parking, what to experience when they walk in the door, what to bring, all of that stuff. You want to just take all that mystery out of it for them and make it a really good experience. But then quite often people miss the part of, we can sell a package, but we got to get them to book, right? Especially in that first week. I'm going to tell you all, your goal is to get everybody in your classes 1 to 2 times in 1, 2, or 3 times if you can in that first week of the intro offer. Anything there, Eddie?
No, I mean, that all makes sense. Christina's saying she's a remote teacher and interested in making a landing page for YYT.
Yeah.
And Julie's saying, I wish OT had the ability to see what emails contacts opened. You can see your general open rates, but we are going to be adding soon more advanced reporting around emails where you can actually dig in and see like exactly who it was. So that is coming.
It's all
Okay, yeah,
coming. You're
people are
going to have so
excited.
many automations. You're going to have so many automations. You're not going to know what to do here. You're going to be so excited with what you get. Once you've got them booked, we've got to get them in the studio. So then that in-studio experience can't be lesser than all the things you've sold them on. You know, your website has to present a certain way, but you want to have that in-studio experience as stellar. It is literally, people walk through the door, they get welcomed by name, they get looked at in the eyes, they get taken around the studio, maybe introduced to another super fan at the studio to show them around. But that has to be super awesome, that experience. You can't let go of that one. And then the other one is the class experience. Your studio or your classes, if you're virtual, is only as your business is only as good as your classes and your teachers, right? So you have to have your whole team, if you've got a team, on board, making sure that experience is stellar as well. What I like about Offering Tree, we've already set this up, we'll show it to you, but if somebody, we've set up an automation in there that if in the first few days they haven't come, they get this personal email from the studio owner that's not all slick. It looks like just a regular hey, and it's saying, hey, we notice you haven't come. We want to get you booked. I'm the owner. Let me know if you've got any follow-up. And then if they have come, we've got another email saying, hey, congratulations for coming. Do you have any feedback? So we've got triggers based on how people actually attend classes, which is going to really help you with the behavioral triggers.
Cool. And I have a correction, Elizabeth. You can see who opened. We already did that. So well, it's already checked off the list. I
Already
forgot
on
that
it.
we already shipped that one. So
How do they find it, Eddie?
geez, when you click on your email, there's a little stats button next to it, and you can see all the stats. But we are going to be adding some extra stats like click tracking and things like that. So more improvements are coming, but open. You can see who opened it already. So cool.
All right.
Ready for the
we
next one?
automation? Are we automate?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no, we're
let me
going
go
to
back.
automations now. Yeah.
Yep. All
So
right.
let's
Well, I'm
take a
gonna
look at the
stop.
emails.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing this presentation and I'm going to start sharing.
And while you're sharing that, Eddie, I'm going to say I am partners with a lot of the software companies and I love automations and the intro offer journal. I'm going to say the differentiator with Offering Tree is the visual journey that you don't get with the other software companies.
All right. So yeah, it's been awesome creating this from scratch over the last few months. Shout out to Arvin and the development team for making this happen. It's been a lot of fun to talk with people like Michael, understand what the needs are, and try to build something.
We've been
that's
meeting
really useful
weekly for
people.
about 2 months on this.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, we just launched automations today. So if you go down under communications, you'll see this automations. And you won't have anything here yet. I've been messing around with these things. This is my test site.
This is a preview.
This is a and so to get started, you're going to hit this create automation button. And there's some templates up here already to kind of get you started. What Michael and I have been working really closely is creating this email sequence around your intro offers. So once someone purchases your intro offer, they automatically get this email sequence that is, as Michael was saying, is kind of like responsive to how they're actually using your intro offer. So they, depending on like the different journeys that people take, some people dive right in and start using your intro offer. Those people will get a different set of emails than the people who are like not coming as much, and you need to kind of push and nudge them a little bit. So that's kind of the power. And the nice thing is these things happen sort of automatically once it's sort of set it and forget it, which I think and Michael can probably speak more to this, but it's important to have consistency and repeatability, and so that you can sort of hone and tune this customer journey streamlining and process, so that you can build like a more scalable, reliable, profitable business.
Yeah.
But
and I just want to say this 3-week, the reason I did a 3-week one is because you can take this if you've got a 2-week offer and just shorten it up, just shorten up the gap days in between to make it into a 2-week, or you can extend it out and just make the days in between a little bit longer and extend it out to a month or whatever you want.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's so you can check out these other templates, but today what we're gonna be talking about is a template that Michael created. So I'm gonna hit this one, use this template, and it's creating it, and boom. So like
Yeah.
this is
So
now, yeah, he was talking about visually. It's essentially like you can think of this as like a workflow where people enter it and then they move down these steps. And we'll talk about this, but this is sort of that visual representation of the sequence. If you've used things like ConvertKit or Active Campaign, these marketing automation tools, it's very similar. But what's
yeah.
nice is this is all built into the software, so there's no integrations, and we can, we have data that these other platforms don't really have access to, because we know, like, from a scheduling and registration standpoint, what people are doing, and we can create more powerful automations from it. So, but yeah, we can dive in and sort of
Do you want
what
to
we
zoom
want to
into the
do.
first one?
Yeah. So,
So the first one's a trigger.
yep.
Right. So
So
this is, yeah, go.
oh, I was going to say the trigger is just essentially how people enter the automation. So what happens to enter people in? So in this case, they purchase a membership or package. And I would say that, like, if you have one intro offer, you're going to want to come in here and pick that intro offer. Like, the template doesn't do that because we don't know what your intro offer is. So you're going to have to, for some of this stuff, you're going to have to go in and customize it to make the best use of it for your business. So that's what I'll say about this trigger is, if you have an intro offer, you can pick that one, and you can always add multiple triggers. So if you have multiple intro offers, you can just add multiple triggers so that people get put in here.
The next one is the email. And what's nice about this, you can see little notes, and I've added personal little notes into there that tells you a little bit kind of the whys, why we create this email. So the first one is the welcome email. So that's the one we already spoke a little bit about. Do you want to open that up, Eddie?
Mm-hmm.
It works just like an email builder, like a website builder. It's super easy. And you can customize it there. So it will say, hi, Jason, hi, Christina. So it'll be really customized. And then in this one, we've just given you the template here. So for you to fill out everything, I've written all this, but you can fill out everything that relates to your business. And so that is directions, parking, waivers, all that information that you need everybody to have up front. I'm going to give a little pro tip here on this one. And sometimes it's a lot to read. And I've seen great success with embedding a video. So a link to a YouTube video, but kind of a walkthrough of the studio is really powerful, because again, I said it's an intimidating thing sometimes. So if you can show people what they're walking through, it's really nice to add that in here. Regina's glad that we included the social media links. Well, and the thing is, you can customize it and you can add in anything into this, but the template's got it all there for you. All right, so then triggers. Do you want to talk about the triggers, Eddie? It's a delay. It's a delay.
Oh, the delay.
Right?
Yeah, this is the next step is a delay step. So there's multiple, like when you're building your own automations, and we'll link some help articles and some help videos to the follow-up email, so you can kind of understand more like how to build these yourselves. But this step is a wait step. So when people purchase your intro offer, they'll receive this, they'll go from here to here right away. They'll receive your email. Then as soon as the system sends this email to them, they'll move into here. And what's kind of cool is you can actually click here. Once you have this automation up and running, you can click in each step and see like who's all in this automation and where they are in the automation. But so then they'll come into this step and they're going to wait here for a day. So it's going to wait a day. And then once it's the next day, it's going to come back down here, and then it's going to send the second email in the sequence.
Yeah.
And so we can click into this.
Yeah. So again, these banners I've created, I'm going to give you all we'll follow up with the links to the Canva templates for this, that you can just make use of these banners yourself and customize them. So again, this is all written out. So this this is one that if you change your schedule a lot, you're going to have to be on this one, right? Because, but what I like about this one is introducing everybody. But I talked before about the importance. We can sell something, but we need to get people on the mat or on the equipment, right? So again, this is a call to action. It's introducing Heather. It's telling you exactly what classes that she's teaching. Again, if you're changing classes, you want to make sure you come in here and change this. But then there's a call to action under everybody. Book a class, book a class, book a class. So you'll get a common theme here. And I added Eddie into this, and I added Sinead into this. Are you watching this, Sinead? You're one of the teachers. She is
Awesome.
watching. I stole that. I had to search the internet for that, Sinead.
I was going to ask where you got that picture. It's a good one.
Uh,
So yeah, so then we, this just continues on. So now we wait another day. And I would say, feel free. You can come
Play
in
with
here
it.
and edit these
Yeah.
things if you want to. You can change the days. Um, and then now we come down here. So we haven't seen what the heck is this thing, advanced filter.
Yeah.
So another thing that you can do with these automations is sort of say, you can come to kind of a decision point, like what's going on right now for this person, and you can take different paths. So when I kind of talked earlier, I alluded to this, where what's cool about these things is we can look, hey, have they used this pack yet? If they haven't used this intro offer yet, we might want to send different emails than if they did. So this is that decision sort of step here. So there's a lot of different things that you can decide upon, like what, and you can click this drop down and see all the things. And this is where the power of having these automations built right into offering tree is that we have access to all these things that we can look at when we're deciding which branch of the automation to put people down. So what we want to look at is the number of event and event series registrations. Like, have they registered yet? And if that's greater than equal to 1, then that means that they have used it, and we want to put them down a different path. So if they have used the intro offer or the package that they purchased, they're gonna go down here. And this sort of chain, this sort of branch in the automation is writing emails assuming that they've come. But over here, we're going to be sending them some emails to sort of nudge them along to saying,
Yeah.
we can open this one up actually and take a look. And this is kind of that just like real simple,
Yeah.
email template, which is great.
Yeah, I did this one specifically because I didn't want it to look like a big fancy branded thing. I wanted this one to look like a personal note from the owner. So it might start with an automation, but if they email back, then that's a real live conversation with that person, right? So I wanted to make that look like it wasn't, all fancy. It's like this is a real genuine. And the other thing I wanted to say, when Eddie was showing you all of those, things that you can do, it can look overwhelming if you're not a techie kind of person, and that's why you've got this template as a base, right? So that you've got this basis, but if you feel like getting techie, you can build your own, or you can even add on to this sequence, because this is, and also I want to say that what we're showing you right now is what I was talking about. It's that first week. If they haven't come in that first week, it needs to be an email, text, or phone call. Like one of those things needs to go out to say, hey, you purchased this pass. Because if you don't, on a 2-week intro pass, if you haven't got them in the first week, you might not have a good job at keeping them, right? So we got to get them in. The call to actions are always get your ass to class kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And a little plug for where we're going with automations is we're going to be adding, right now you can send emails, you can add tags to contacts and other things, but we're going to be adding the ability for you to send text messages. That's going to be coming early next year. The ability for you to create tasks. So for yourself. So it's like, oh, this person hasn't shown up yet this week. Create a task for myself that I'll be reminded to personally follow up with this person. Because as Michael said, like that, like automations aren't the end all be all. Having that personal touch is going to be huge.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's sort of like this is helping you sort of manage your business, these automations, and like poke you, give you a little notification to do things. So
cool. So that sequence, so we got 10 minutes left, so we're gonna have to boogie through this a little bit, but that sequence, if they haven't come, you can see it right there, that sends an email. Then if they haven't come, and But so that's
Nudge them
kind of like
along.
nudging them along. And then
Yep.
we send that back to the original funnel, which before I said people won't opt out of your emails if you're giving them value, right? So if you're not so I see other people's build outs of these automations and I see them selling too soon. But if you start by nurturing them and supporting their journey along the way, then the sale becomes a little bit easier at their end.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it just
So,
looks,
asking for feedback, asking for people if you can help them,
yeah.
those are nice things that like the chances that they're gonna say, I don't want this, unsubscribe, is greatly reduced rather than if you're just selling, right?
Yeah, and then so this is a good one. So this is I always like this in my intro things, but giving something of value again, so that they're not feeling sold to, And I'm a big fan. I mean, a lot of studios will have swag at the studio that could be part of it. But if you're a virtual studio, a great download to a free digital class or a yoga nidra audio relaxation download, but something that's going to add value um, that they're going to enjoy during the process. So wait 3 days. So then, yeah, so I want to talk about this one because we're kind of partway through the sequence, right? We're kind of getting in there, but what happens is people kind of drop off, right? So we want to nudge people and remind them about creating a healthy habit. So that's what we want to do here. It's like, hey, a reminder of why you purchased your pass. Everybody coming to a yoga class or whatever type of class is coming for some type of change. You can't tell me otherwise. Strength, mental wellness, stress, whatever it is, they're coming for some type of change. So you need to remind them here about why they started the journey in the first place, and try and keep them coming back again. Get booking here, call to action again. By the way, everything should have a call to action if you haven't got that by now.
Yeah. Every
Not
email
getting,
should have something that you want, some action that you want them to take, right?
yeah.
And then four
So
more days
then,
later,
yeah,
this
so this is kind of like, hey, remember you've got this many classes to choose from, right? So let's get you back into it again. It's another call to action.
and then 2 more days.
2 more days, an offer for you. So Eddie and I have been talking about this one, and the great thing about Offering Tree, and very different to some of the other platforms, is that you can have in here, you can sell in Offering Tree a offer that's not on your website, an unlisted offer. And I'm a big fan of that, because if let's say, for example, your monthly membership was $120, this could have a link in it to where you're going to get it for $99 for the next 6 months or something like that, right? So this is where you would embed the link to purchase a discounted offer.
And you can just simply click in here, add the link. Okay, I want to just briefly talk about this like red.
Yeah.
You see this red flag. This is an event. So basically, people will skip down to this spot if they've done this action. So for this one, it's have they purchased any membership or package? So like, if what you want them to do in this whole sequence is purchase a longer term commitment package or a membership. So if they do that, they'll skip down to here. And then they'll skip down to the end. So they don't keep getting all of these emails that are assuming they haven't bought yet. So it's a way of like skipping people down, ending the automation if that's relevant, which for this one it is. We just want them to skip down to the end. Basically then we come to this another decision block, right? And what we want to know at this point is, have they bought or not? If they've purchased and taken the action that we wanted to, we just end, which is here. But if they have not yet purchased either another package or a membership, then we have this sort of last ditch effort to try to sell them before we're done. So we
Again, these
send.
triggers are all set up for you.
Yep. Yeah. All these blocks are set up for you. So there's one, two, three more emails. And I know we only have 5 minutes. So did you want to say anything about these emails quickly?
Not really. I mean, they are the final ones are rescue emails, right?
Mhm.
After, so you got the offer. So it's kind of, we're trying to, we haven't captured them within the 3 weeks. So then it's like, we're following up just in case, hey, maybe, and then another one,
Mhm.
hey, just in case, maybe. And then you might have to let it go. But what we don't let go is that we've got their email address, and we're going to then add them into our regular automations for your monthly newsletter or studio updates or whatever.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly. And feel free to come in here, click around, take a look at these notes. Michael added notes for all of these things. So, it's a great place to come learn about, what we were doing, thinking behind these blocks and these emails. So yeah, I was just gonna any
Yes,
last
butterfly
thoughts? I was
spirit.
gonna, oh yeah.
The question was, do you think this would work effectively for an online studio? And yes, exactly. If you've got an intro offer, you just tailor it to this. Absolutely. You just don't have to say, you just don't have to say, come to the studio. You just have to give them how to get on Zoom.
So Tina was saying this is great. I had something similar using Flowdesk, but it was so cost prohibitive. So glad this is added on.
Yeah, the
Um,
difference, can I just speak to that? The difference here is that you can do all the flow desk things, constant contact, you can do that. They're only going to trigger off based on maybe a purchase. Like if you sign up for something and then that email goes off to your constant contact, and then you have to create a nurture sequence separately. The difference is these triggers can be set on your client's behaviors. That's the differentiator, right? It's like that they purchased this, or they came, they didn't come. If they haven't come for 6 months, we can do a welcome back campaign. Like, so it's all based on your client's behaviors.
yeah,
Super
exactly.
powerful.
Yeah. So, and then Tina was asking, I see the limit of 20. So yeah, for our lower tier plan, we limit the number of times that these automations can run. So as on the pro plan and on the studio light plan and the studio plan, you can use these more. And the idea is that, for essential plan is geared towards that teacher who's maybe part-time solo brand, doesn't have a lot of clients. So it's sort of throttled that way. So,
Yeah.
but if you're really getting a lot of use out of these things, reach out to us.
Yeah, you've got the
Even if you're on the
slides.
essentials
Do you have the
plan.
slides for the other slides, Eddie, for the
Yeah,
last
let
couple
me
of?
pull up the last couple slides here.
Thank you. There's going to be a couple of links to some resources.
Bear with me while I set this up here. All right.
Tina, they purchase from the link in the email if they get it from the offering. You're going to be able to embed in the email, Tina, the link to purchase in Offering Tree. I'm just finishing off the Canva templates for the emails. I'm going to give them to you for free. There's a link there, please. That goes to my Instagram, Yoga Biz Champ. Send me a direct message there. Once I've got it all together, we'll send you the templates, or you can drop your email in the chat here. We'll make sure that happens as well.
Yeah, and we'll follow up to everyone who's registered with these links as well.
And then if you want to book a free chat with me, no obligation at all. You just scan that. You answer a few questions, a little video questionnaire thing, and that'll send you to a booking link for me. And I'd love to have a chat with anybody here. And thank you
Perfect.
for
Yeah.
everybody attending. And then Offering Tree, you guys have demo.
Yeah. So, if anybody, thank you all for being here and learning about the automations and this 3-week intro offer template. Let us know what your biggest takeaway was in the chat. And we'll be following up. If anyone wants to learn more about automations, we'll give you more information. We'll give you all the information about Michael as well in a follow-up email. So thank you guys so much. Hope this was really helpful for you and gives you some ideas for
Thanks
how
for
to
coming, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. All right, thank you,
Oh, my
everyone.
podcast Yoga Biz Camp. Go check that out.
Yeah, we'll include a link to that as
Yoga
well.
Biz Camp, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm confused. Thank you,
Great.
everyone, for showing up. Hope you got something out of today, and really excited about the automations coming.
Regina says, my biggest takeaway is that when I have a negative response, like freebies and other things don't work, I need to listen to that and not judge it. It's a great takeaway.
Great.